This crispy chicken is from a taco place.
This crispy chicken is from a taco place?
The taco place?
Taco place. It comes in a burrito, too?
From your taco place, it's also a chicken place that's also a taco place.
It's the fall kickoff sale at Lithia Ford of Boise. It's the best time to trade in and trade up to a new Ford truck or SUV with the room to haul your payload or playload. Visit Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho.
It's time for Ball Talk with Sanford and Johnny. From what's happening on the blue at Boise State to the Mountain West and beyond. The biggest storylines, the best guests, and most outlandish opinions from two dudes who eat, sleep, and breathe college football. Ball Talk is presented by Circa Las Vegas and Circa Sports. Check out the world's largest sports book at Circa and watch the game at Stadium Swim on your next trip to Las Vegas. Book your trip today at circalasvegas.com. Ball Talk with Sanford and Johnny, featuring former Boise State quarterback and longtime coach Mike Sanford and KTIK 95.3 FM The Ticket's Johnny Mallory on Bronco Nation News.
It's Ball Talk, the happiest place in the world next to Disneyland, a special Mountain West Championship game edition. And this is just what we do on Ball Talk. This is the third consecutive season. We'll preview a Mountain West Championship game with Boise State participating, second of which at home 1 year ago. We've been talking about this all week. It was maybe the finest sports night in the history of this state, with beating new UNLV in this game. Lots to get to tonight. I'm Johnny Ballgame. Appreciate everybody for a free edition of Ball Talk. Thank Uncle BJ for this one. We bumped it up time for a little bit. It's just a weird season in the holidays, and as busy as we are, we figured we'd hit you at 7:30 tonight. So with me, my partner, as always, he's the head coach at Valor Christian High School, former fullbacks coach at Yale University. He's Mike Sanford, former UNLV graduate assistant coach. And here we go again. And it's not only the third straight preview season we're previewing this, but it's the third straight season we're previewing these two teams, Coach. It's crazy.
I feel like we're this is the ultimate Groundhog's Day moment. I feel like Bill Murray's going to show up and punch Tiny Phil and Ned Ryerson. Here we are. It's Groundhog's Day in Boise, freaking Idaho. And yet, Phil Connor, Ned Ryerson.
Great play.
Remember Bill Murray at that point, just like about ready to punch he punches him. He punches the guy. And like day 79, he's like,
he's like, you know what? I'm just going to deck you today.
So put your little hand in mine. Na, 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 na. In the freaking alarm clock. That's what we're living right now. Is it not, Johnny?
I got you, babe. I got you, babe. I should have opened with that song. That's the song on the alarm clock, I think, right?
Hey, I'll tell you what, I don't want to spoil the lead for Idaho Sports Talk tomorrow, but that might be a good lead in right there, Johnny. A nice bumper for one of your segments about Groundhog's Day, because that's what you're dealing with. It's wild. Even today, the news of former UNLV offensive coordinator Brendan Marion, one and done at Sac State, now going to the University of Colorado to be the offensive coordinator for Coach Prime and bring that very strange, unorthodox go-go offense, or whatever you want to call it. Basically, it's just it's spread tempo offense with really weird offset running backs. And Boise State owned it, man. I mean, that's the bottom line. Boise State has absolutely, as it should, owned this rivalry between the Rebels and the Broncos. And I don't see any reason, personally, what's going to change. What is going to change? You got them back on the blue. You've got confidence. Your defense is playing it at a high level. I mean, Max Cutforth, I know he's not starting the game, but man, he was awesome at Utah State. I eat my words big time on anything that I said about Max Cutforth because he really delivered in a big way. So Max Cutforth made me proud to be a Boise State Bronco.
Okay.
And
you were hard on him. You didn't like how he handled his presser, man. You thought that
it was hard.
Did you call it Bush League? Maybe even?
I don't think I used that term. I just thought it was unneeded. I thought talking about getting the job full time. But you know what? Hey, at the end of the day, that confidence breeds confidence, and ultimately, the team was confident in Max Cutforth, and he threw for 1 million yards in back-to-back weeks. It was awesome. Like we haven't seen that for a while. So I'm excited to get Maddox Madsen back in the fold. I'm excited to see him back on the blue. Last time that he played in this matchup in the same stadium at Albertson Stadium, he was really good. Put together a great performance in an offensive explosion that was very balanced for the Boise State offense. So anybody who thinks there's a quarterback controversy, man, this is Mad Dog's team. We can get into the quarterback position at a later date. But right now, I mean, you're getting ready to play in your third consecutive Mountain West championship and you're freaking hosting, man. It's crazy. Johnny
into this thing. And I'm
5 weeks
trying
ago
to find paths for UNLV to win this game, to be honest. I mean, their defense has to play at a level that I don't think it's played yet in any game this year. I mean, statistically, it is improving, but so was their schedule, right? That was improving too. The opponents, it's funny how the opponents might affect a stat sheet a little bit, and I think that happened. But if UNLV does play the defense, it's playing at a higher level, I guess, maybe they have a shot on this thing in Calandria. He just needs to take over this game. He needs to be
Calandria,
the best player on there and
good player. Yeah.
Play like it.
Yeah, good player, good athlete, but would you agree that Calandria also is just like a turnover waiting to happen?
Yeah, he's kind of all over the place a little bit. Yeah, you'd never be surprised if he had a multiple turnover game, sure, but he'll also win you games too and pick stuff up for you third downs on foot.
Yeah,
feels like he's a leader. They rally around him. He's a good quarterback. He's got another year too. That will be really interesting to see how Dan Mullen, if he does stay there, how he can keep a quarterback that can probably make $1 million playing this.
Yeah, isn't it wild to think that Dan Mullen may even like right now be involved in a coaching search somewhere?
Yep.
How many jobs has he been involved in? Who knows, right?
Yep.
Maybe none. Maybe he tried to. Maybe his agent wanted him in. Maybe he didn't want to. Maybe he loves UNLV. Maybe he loves Las Vegas. But is that a distraction? I mean, the last time out, Dan Mullen, he talked that talk after they got beat badly by Boise State, and in his post game comments, had some comments to say about changing the defensive structure because of how good we are, and I'm like, yeah. And so you got the opportunity. Here it is. It's right in front of you. Got the opportunity to right the wrong against Boise State, and right back on the blue. And I like the chances of my alma mater. I do.
There's only 18 teams playing this week for conference championship weekend. Boise State, one of them. Only a few others of those teams, hosting. There's a lot of neutral sites, this week. So just the fact that you're playing this week, just doesn't happen very much in college football. Boise State probably takes it for granted, but that is pretty sweet to even have this game in this moment tomorrow night, where it's I don't know. You got the American game going on ABC the exact same time, but still, I mean, good view, good eyeballs, a lot of them tomorrow for Boise State if they play well. Cool way to end the season there. And then you get to an LA Bowl where you'll play a name program, and that's a game that Spencer Danielson has to win. He has to beat a name program in the power. He hasn't. That's kind of Washington State doesn't count, right? I mean, that's the only one. I mean, he needs to, check that box off. He might have an opportunity if they beat UNLV,
right,
to play that type of program.
It's so hard, and I hate to minimize it, but man, what is a name program in a non-college football playoff game nowadays, man? I mean,
ask the fan base. I don't know. Do they still care?
Well, it's not even about the fan base; it's about the rosters. Are these rosters intact? Are they on their way to their next place? Are they, are they if they're a potential draft picker, they're not playing in the LA Bowl? Like, that's the thing that's so different about the bowl era that I played in, and that is the unfortunate reality of college football. It's I hate to say this, but to a certain extent, it feels big picture wise like what happens late in December into January. In terms of relevance, it's playoffs or bust, and it sucks. But it's the nature of what this broken system of college football has created, that the bowl games have been minimized in a major way. And you can't tell that to every kid. I know that. I know there's going to be a ton of kids that are playing for unbelievable pride. There's going to be certain programs that go double down, but you just don't get really clean tit for tat. It's just what it is.
Over half the bowls last year did not have, both head coaches who were there week one. Over half of them.
Yeah.
So you're right. And it's too bad that it's turned into that. You have to fast forward to the next season. You just have to. If you don't, you're a month behind the work.
I know.
For the portal.
But
and all
while we're
stuff.
here, the good thing is that let's take the bowl game and the future out of it. Let's just talk about Spencer Danielson. 2 of the last 3 seasons. I feel like this year even reminds me a little bit of when Spencer took over as the interim head coach in 2023. Because the season felt like it was all for naught. And this year, let's call a spade a spade. You had how many losses where you scored 7 points, Johnny? 4 of them. And the season looked like it was dead. It was on the side of the road, left for dead. And just like the year in which my former teammate Andy Avalos was dismissed after, I think it was 8 games, right? Was it 7 or 8? 10. 5-5. And then you just backdoor your way into a conference championship in 2023. Spencer Danielson backdoors this team into a Mountain West Conference championship. This year, I mean, I thought there was absolutely no chance, Johnny. After what happened to Fresno State, what happened to, it felt like Spencer took back over as the interim head coach for himself getting fired. Like, it reminded me of 23, the last several weeks. I mean, it truly does. It reminds
me vacation, man. I booked plane tickets.
Yes,
I had plans this the weekend of the LA Bowl because I thought there was no way in hell. At least I get that weekend off. I got Seahawk Colts tickets.
Oh man!
Weekend. And now, I mean, if they're gonna, I would imagine they're gonna beat UNLV. I'll be so shocked if they don't.
Does this feel
that? But I tried to get ahead of the game. But yeah,
I'm not going to say that Spencer Danielson is a notorious what's the word when you put something off till the very last minute? Procrastinator. Because last year he didn't procrastinate. But I will say this: Spencer Danielson has mastered the art of cramming for your final exam and acing it. Yeah. Does he not? In 2 of his 3 seasons, man.
Short notice, and this time,
telling you, man.
I think they're going to be fired up too. This might not matter, you tell me, but this will be the first time they're going to run out of the tunnel to 7 Nation Army, where it's actually dark at the time they run out of the tunnel. Mountain time zone, Boise, Idaho. We're right on the edge of the time zone. It's later here. It's lighter here later than like anywhere in the country. And I think just running out of the tunnel, and you remember this, it's just in a complete and total night game. That song's going to be playing. It won't be a sellout, but it's going to be packed. I think this team is going to be fired up and juiced to play. And I have some quarterback questions I want to ask you too, and I think it'll start with the quarterback. I think Madison's going to be fired up. Hopefully he's not too tight early and he's able to find that rhythm to the point where you're not worried. And they can be on their way and get back to this to being the best football team of the Mountain West and three-peat. They've never done a Mountain West three-peat.
Yeah,
you did the WAC four-peat. You did, right? You won the WAC all 4 years.
Yeah. No, we did not win it in 2021.
Yep. Yep.
Or sorry, 22. Geez, I'm not that young. 2001, we didn't win it. We won it. We won the Big West in 2000, and then 2, 3, and 4. We won the. So
do you still have a Big West championship ring?
Oh yeah,
dude, I would love to see that. Break that. It's within distance. Is Anne Marie watching this?
She actually is she's at an event tonight.
Okay, I was thinking maybe she knows where your rings are and she could go grab it. I'd love to see what a Big West championship ring looks like there. Anyway, Mike, going to the quarterback thing.
Yeah.
They let us go to one practice this week. Yep. Monday. It was the indoor, and I had to stop and watch a while because I was that impressed with the way the ball was flying off of Madsen's hand.
Good.
It was flying. It zipped like it was right on the money, and he almost had like a gunslinger attitude. I could tell at practice too, almost Baker Mayfield-ish personality. Kind of like, yeah, I know I'm pretty freaking good. I'm making the throws, slapping guys on the butt. Totally his team. Like,
what was his injury, Johnny?
It was ankle, and then I think it was some toe, but we don't know.
It wasn't like a Liz. So it wasn't like a Liz Frank.
I don't believe so.
No,
but he is wearing.
Go ahead.
He's wearing the insole that Joe Burrow is now wearing.
Okay.
Same thing. I believe it's even the same doctor. So if you Google Joe Burrow insole, whatever, it'll probably come up. Madsen's wearing that. But man, he was
plantar fasciitis.
I don't know. I thought maybe even a turf toe.
Yeah.
Or in a high ankle sprain. Something like that. And both of them. Because I just remember going and seeing him play, and he just wasn't. You could tell he was toughing it out.
Yeah.
And it's not like he wasn't toughing it out on Monday. He just felt good, and he had bounce, and he was throwing the ball really, really well. Does it for a quarterback? How much can, let's just say, a toe, an ankle sprain, a plantar, anything, how much do those injuries healing give a quarterback zip in their throw, in their motion back? How much does the foot or ankle have to do with the entire process, and how the heck, and does it slow it down to the point?
Well, if you're a right-handed quarterback, I would say that your anchor foot, your back foot, meaning your right foot, is where you begin the process in a loaded environment to create ground force production. And I always say that, like, the power that you create starts in the turf, and it goes through the ball of your right foot as a right-handed quarterback. And that you want to create that energy all the way going through your right leg up to your right hip. And that's where you need to find that marriage, even though there is a bit of a dissociation that happens between your hip that creates the sling. When you create that power, your hip should lead slightly before your arm. And that's when you hear this very Tom House disassociation, if you will. But all of that power starts in your back right foot. Now, I don't know, is Maddox Madsen's right or left?
Gosh, I hate this. I always mess it up, so I don't even want to say. Hey, people in the chat, was it his right or his left? I don't know why I can't remember it this time, but that does obviously mean something.
It does. Like the left, like if it's your plant foot, I wouldn't say that you're going to get a whole lot more zip. You might just you might be wincing a bit in terms of like when you do transfer your weight, from 60% to your back foot, 40% starting on your front foot. So yeah, I mean, to me, I guess it is his left foot. I'm seeing from comments right there. So there might have been, I would say, if anything, it might have just it might have prohibited Mad Dog's ability to really come through your throws, to really finish.
That's what I was thinking.
Throws. Yeah,
like he was finishing, and the balls were money, and it was back to the case where it's pretty easy to tell who's the best thrower or, I don't know, passer of the football in that quarterback room when all things are even and everybody's healthy. It's pretty easy to tell. Now, Cutforth might be able to push him in the offseason or fall camp, along with the two freshmen that are coming in a couple of weeks, a couple of high-profile quarterbacks that the fan base is really excited about. So,
yeah, I mean, I know just a lot of people have asked me if I've watched much tape on Jackson Taylor or Cash Herrera. Jackson Taylor, shoot, I offered him a scholarship 3 years ago.
Minnesota?
No, when I was at CU.
You tried to get Jackson Taylor to Boulder.
I just, he was a young player, and my guy, I love Danny Hernandez. He coaches both of these young men. Danny Hernandez, one of the great quarterback trainers, but also just a great dude. He's not a BSer. Now on the flip side, a quarterback trainer does not make the perfect fit for a quarterback in your program, because Danny Hernandez was Malachi Nelson's quarterback trainer as well. So what I do like is the fact that clearly Boise State, Spencer Danielson, Zach Hill, and everybody else involved in the offensive brain trust has kept a good relationship with Danny Hernandez. And I think that's a smart thing to do, because Danny's, Danny was his kind of meal ticket was Bryce Young. He had Bryce from time he was a 7th grader, started training him young.
That was the Bryce Young guy. Yeah. Danny, he's big time, man. Yeah.
He's honestly just a great dude. He's truly is like one of my people. He actually helped coach at my alma mater, Los Alamitos High School, in addition to training quarterbacks. And he wasn't there when I was there. Obviously, he's a little bit younger than me. But Danny's good people, man. And I know I've always trusted Danny. Danny, trained a guy that I had, Ryan Staub, that I signed at CU. Ended up starting a couple games this year. He started for CU when it didn't go well with the quarterback they had. But the kids that he has, they're always going to be well trained. They're going to be well behaved. Jackson's a very smart guy, and then Cash Herrera's got some athleticism too. So I was curious to see why they would go to the same spot. I guess nowadays it's like, hey man, it doesn't matter. We'll go as freshmen, see how it plays out, and then one of us will leave, one of us will stay, or maybe we both leave.
Zach Hill made it sound really, Zach Hill talked about it yesterday. He's like, and you know what? It doesn't matter where the hell you go now. You have to compete. Yeah. You're going to have to anyway. You might as well compete with another incoming freshman who's going through the same lens you are, a kid too. And that'll be a weird dynamic because they're friends. Yeah. And who's gonna win that job? I'll tell you, fall camp, that's gonna be a storyline. It sure is. Jackson, Cash, and I'll even throw in Zeke. Yep. He'll be in that mix too, and we'll see who those players are. Do you have a mic drop tonight, Coach Mike Sanford?
I absolutely do, and I'm gonna take this back to the origin of the Mountain West Conference. The Boise State Broncos, when they get the invitation to the Mountain West Conference, and Johnny, 2000 and was it 8?
Probably their first year was 11, so they probably got the invitation in 10.
10, yeah.
9, so usually you had to wait a year.
2011 to 2025, you're on your 15th season of the Mountain West Conference and your final season of the Mountain West Conference. And, as an alum, I'm proud. I'm proud of this team. I'm proud of people like myself, and I have to acknowledge that, questioning what was going on. And I think everybody should have questioned what was happening with the offense and what was happening with this team, and being 8-4 and scoring 7 points at University of South Florida, at Notre Dame, against Fresno State, and then doing it at San Diego State. It wasn't the standard. The standard is very high at Boise State, and rightfully so. But what this team did do, what Spencer Danielson did lead, and more importantly, what these players in that locker room said that have worn that jersey proudly, many of which have stayed here, fought through all the different changes that have happened over the last 5 years. It's been a constant change. Coordinators have turned over. It's been a dang near a new offensive play caller every year, it feels like, for the last 5 seasons. Defensive turnover, head coach turnover. You have a lot of seniors that were great leaders that you have to tip your cap to. Marco Notriani, and Latrell Caples, Maddox Madsen. I think he's been a terrific leader. I think he led tremendously even when he wasn't playing in these last few games. But ultimately for me, the face of this renaissance has been a player from the state of Idaho. And I think there's something to be said when you grow up in the backyard of your flagship university and you choose to play for that team, there is a different level of pride that goes into how you prepare, how you train, and how you play. It's personal because Boise State means something to you. I grew up in Southern California. Boise State did not mean nearly as much to me in 2000 when I arrived on the campus at Boise State as it did to Donnie Heck and Brock Forsey and Jeb Putzier. It didn't mean
naming them.
Nearly as much as Matt Hill, who grew up in Kootenai. No, he grew up somewhere up north, way up north, not Kootenai. Gosh, come on. I don't know. Anyway, didn't mean to me what it meant to John Helmendaller. Didn't mean to me to the extent of what it meant to Tim Gilligan, who Elko, Nevada is frankly Boise suburbs, if you will. It's in the region. But I'll tell you this. It meant a lot to Max Cutforth, and he represented against all odds with such incredible fortitude, with such incredible grit, and he was the face of this turnaround. And if and when Boise State does something that 4 weeks ago, heck, 2 weeks ago, felt completely impossible and unlikely, which is win an unprecedented back-to-back Mountain West championship, we can thank the senior leadership. We can thank those that have worn that Boise State and play for what's on the front of their jersey. And we can thank the kids that are local, namely Max Cutforth, that just care. It just means something different to a guy like him. And so I tip my cap from one former Boise State quarterback to a current Boise State quarterback, one that I doubted, one that I verbalized, hey, it looks a little slow. Everything's a little slow twitched. Tell you what, man, that young man took unbelievable pride to get it right in a hurry. And for that, as a Boise State fan, as a Boise State alum, whatever you got to tip your cap, and you should remember the name Max Cutforth forever, because he saved a season that felt like it was falling apart rapidly. And I think a lot of these coaches too better give a big hug to Max Cutforth, because I've been there before. And when you have a player that wasn't expected to deliver in that big a moment, and they do, you're indebted to them forever. So to this team, to these seniors, and to Max Cutforth, I tip my cap. You're a real Bronco, Max. And that's my mic drop.
This crispy chicken is from a taco place.
This crispy chicken is from a taco place? The taco place? Taco place. It comes in a burrito, too?
From your taco place, it's also a chicken place that's also a taco place.
All right, Ball Talk, the happiest place in the world next to Disneyland. I'm going to stick with that.
It's what it is. It is.
Coach Mike Sanford. We got a bunch of questions. We'll see if we can get to those. Couple more topics. Dan Mullen, you're related to him in football coaching.
Yes.
You know how he operates. You know how he runs programs. You know what he's, I don't know, exactly what he's thinking here, but you know this guy. Let's talk about your history, your knowledge of Dan Mullen, and you've taken a peek at his teams. I think you've followed Dan Mullen's career very closely, your whole career. I mean, he's related to your dad. You guys just follow each other.
Yeah. So,
your thoughts? I mean, let's be honest, 10-2, year one, UNLV, 75 plus new players. Shoot, man, like he's done a pretty darn good job this year. Hell yeah.
He's done a great job. I mean, he's probably, is he a shoe-in to be Mountain West Coach of the Year, would you say?
No, it's
Sean Lewis.
Jason Eck.
You're exactly right. Yep. You're exactly right. Should Jason Eck be coaching in this game?
Yeah, he thinks so, but I mean the computer numbers, no. I mean, I think Sean Lewis has the most beef. He didn't play UNLV. He kicked Boise State's ass. He lost to New Mexico, but okay. I mean, it's a weird deal. And, Dan Mullen, UNLV lost to Boise. They lost to New Mexico, and they didn't play San Diego State. They have no wins in that quad tie. None, but it's just all computer rankings. They take the top two teams and then go head-to-head once they find those top two teams. And
I kind of stand by, and I'm not sure if I'm right in saying this, but I stand by the fact that two of the worst games that I've watched Boise State play in a long time are probably the reason that you're in this Mountain West Championship game by computer rankings. And that's Notre Dame and South Florida. You had quality losses. really high quality losses. Now you played like buns.
Yeah.
And frankly, there's nothing about those two games that should tangibly reward you, but you had very quality losses.
It's a better loss than losing to a team that's nowhere close to Notre Dame or being ranked.
Right.
I get you. And in this game, it sucks, but yeah, everything counts. You compare teams' losses in this thing. People say New Mexico, stop crying. You couldn't beat San Jose.
Yep.
I mean, you could make a million arguments there, but no, I mean, I like this matchup because it's Dan Mullen, UNLV, 5th time these teams have played in essentially 2 years. That's cool.
Mhm.
And we'll see what UNLV can bring. UNLV's like that. I don't know the comparison. It's just like, go away. Why are you still here? You keep coming to this party and no one ever dances with you, dude.
Yeah.
Like, you're not really wanted here anymore. It's just like Boise State fan keeps having to deal with this program, and they haven't really challenged them all that much yet. They've had kind of close. They've had certain moments, but this rivalry is all Boise State. And UNLV hasn't beat them since the 70s.
Yeah, I mean, back to the original question, Dan Mullen. Dan's a really intelligent guy. He was the quarterback coach at the University of Utah for Urban Meyer when my dad was the offensive coordinator. My dad was a play caller from the running back position, so he coordinated and coached running backs. Dan Mullen coached the quarterbacks. Smart, spent a lot of time with him when he was a young coach at the time. And then I think that he was basically Urban's right hand man. He was his coordinator. He was his go-to guy for years. When my dad actually, ironically, takes the UNLV head coaching job, it opened up the opportunity for Dan Mullen to be the offensive coordinator and play caller at Florida. Goes to Florida, has success as a coordinator, ends up ultimately getting his own chance to be a head coach, and did a phenomenal job at Mississippi State. He knows how to play the game. He knows how to he carries himself with extreme levels of confidence. I think he's a very, very confident. He carries an air, an aura of confidence, and his teams take on his persona. He's the kind of guy, like, you ever been around these guys that will tell you, like, hey, Johnny, you ever been around a guy that coached Dak Prescott? So do you think I know what I'm doing about, that kind of guy, right?
Did you see that when you went to recruit for Minnesota and Colorado? Ever heard of Jordan Love? That's my guy. Mike White, that's my guy. You guys use that in recruiting all the time, right?
Yeah, you kind of just depends on how you do it, I mean, you can finesse it a bit, right? I don't think the Dan's a finesser of that. But he's confident. And I think ultimately teams take on the persona of their leader. And I think that, just about everywhere he's coached, I think he's taken on a team that was either confident or cocky. And I think at times it came across at Mississippi State as confident. I think at Florida it probably came across as brash, as arrogant, as cocky. And when it didn't work and when it went bad and you weren't humble and you weren't winning, then you get got. That's what happened at Florida. But he's been on the ground floor of a lot of different offense. He's a big part of the shotgun spread evolution that involved the run game. He was a part of some serious quarterback-driven run, with Dak Prescott and even Anthony Richardson. I think
Tebow and Alex Smith.
Alex Smith.
You guys were like, not you guys, your dad and them and Urban Meyer were like so cutting edge. They were like the first program that was going shotgun every play and doing this read option and not worrying about. Coaches were scared to death to have their quarterback run
100%.
forever. And then all of a sudden it's like, these guys are big athletes. They're fast. They can play.
Yeah. I mean, Anthony Coandrea.
Option. You're asking the kid to make one read and then he's going against a safety. He's fine, So
100%.
Cutting edge, Dan Mullen.
It absolutely was cutting edge, and so that's my scouting report on Mullen. What I'd be curious to see is, I know the original Utah system. I coached in it. I drew all the plays for it at UNLV. We ran the original Mike Sanford Sr., Urban Meyer, Dan Mullen, John Hevesy system. I'd be really curious to see what is exactly how he's calling it. What I haven't felt like I've known exactly what Dan Mullen is offensively in these last 10 years. Does that make sense?
Do you ever watch games and when you can hear calls, you hear a word that you completely know what it is?
A little bit, but so everything now is sign language, man. Outside of the snap count, everything's sign language.
It's the communication.
Yeah,
in the system.
it's another one. Yeah,
I saw Bill Walsh one time before he passed away. He said he was watching a game and he had no idea who the players, who the teams, who the coaches were. It was a college game, and he kept hearing words that he knew. Not only that, he said he kept hearing words that he invented.
Oh, isn't that wild?
The system, and this was in like 2005. And Bill Walsh is like, I'm sitting there and I'm talking to my wife and I'm saying, hey, they're gonna do this. Okay, it's that. And like he was like, they were still saying my language.
You want to know something crazy?
Fascinating.
Let's get a little ball talkish. So right now it's dead period for Division I schools to go recruit and visit on-campus schools because of the early signing period, and then they took everybody off the road in December because it was a disadvantage for teams that were getting ready for championship weeks and then college football playoff teams. They didn't want people to get a leg up on those teams and have 3 weeks of bonus recruiting when those teams were preparing to play football games. So Division II programs and NAIA schools can go out and recruit right now. So I've had a very busy 3-4 days here at Valor Christian after we lost our semifinal game 21-13 against the team Cherry Creek, who signed 10 Division I players on Wednesday.
Cherry Creek?
Yeah, they signed. We were up 13-7 going into the fourth quarter, and dude, they're good, man. So they're nose tackle.
That's where Elway's kids went. Cherry Creek.
Their quarterback's going to Louisiana Tech, their nose tackle to Washington, a receiver and an offensive tackle to Kansas State, an outside linebacker defensive end to Wake Forest, running back Jaden Fox going to UNLV, the state's leading rusher, 500-meter guy.
Colorado State leading rusher going to UNLV, huh?
Their tight end was 6'6" and a quarter, and he's going to BYU as a number one kid in the state. I bet they're 10 players. I bet that NIL wise, that's probably a $4 million roster that we played against in terms of NIL to the teams that they signed with.
How does that work?
$4 million.
How is this working at the high school level?
Well, they didn't get paid. They didn't get paid to go to Cherry Creek, but they're going to get paid to go to BYU and all those places respectively.
But during that system, I mean, do parents tell you guys, the high school coaches, hey, this coach, this is how they're offering the money?
Not really. They're never going to.
They kind of keep that to themselves.
Everybody's using agents. They're using NIL agents. Yeah. And I like that because I have zero interest in getting involved in that freaking cesspool.
Oh man.
I don't want to know it. Anyway, neither here nor there, but so there was a coach came in who's I think he was the offensive line coach from Panhandle State in Oklahoma. Panhandle State, NAIA school.
NAIA, okay.
So I'm listening to him talk to it. We had about 5 different guys. He's kind of going through their offense. And I hear him say, he's like, yeah, we call this train right, Cali push. And I go, wait a minute. And all our kids are like, wait a minute. Like, that's our language. And so found out his offensive coordinator is a kid named Kenzie Kearns at Panhandle State that was my student volunteer assistant at Western Kentucky. And I had, so this is like language that we had used.
That's gotta make you feel so good, man.
It was wild. It was wild. And then also then after he did that, he goes, oh, and by the way, Kenzie told me to say, hey, coacher. Because that's what everybody's ever called me.
You're a coacher guy. Yes.
Yeah, big coacher guy. Me and my dad been coacher guys my dad's been a coacher guy for about 40 years. So
Spencer said something yesterday, and I totally respect it. They signed, what was it, 26 high school players.
Love it.
They don't have spots, not many, for transfer portal players. They're
Okay.
just, they don't. And I think that's why you're seeing certain classes maybe look a little better in recruiting than you would expect, because I think some of these schools, they just don't bring in the volume of high school players anymore,
Right.
because they want, maybe even in many cases, they want way more kids out of the portal than they do from high school. Just the way they're operating. Coach needs to win freaking immediately. He won't have time to develop these kids. Let's go to the portal and we need to win and get extended. Then we can do that type of thing. How
would you grade the portal for Boise State in the last 4 seasons? Because 2022, the first year of the portal,
a D minus. I mean,
who have been the best?
What you put in, they don't spend a lot of time in there, so you probably get what you pay for. I mean, they thought they had one with Malachi. They were trying. Chris Marshall, they were trying there. He's been up and down. Jaden Mickey, okay, but then I'll give you Jaden Mickey. You can give me Devon Banks.
Yeah, and even then, I mean, would you say that Jaden Mickey's been a without question
hit? No, but he's helped. He's been a hit.
Yeah, he's been a general
conference player, if that's what you're saying. And
is he a first team all conference player?
No, he's not an all conference player.
Yeah.
No, Boise State, they haven't had a massive success in the portal, and I don't think they've tried to all that much. But I wanted your thoughts on that, because we're seeing teams just do this. You have to kind of make a decision. And Spencer Danielson said we're developmental. They want the high school kids. What are you seeing in the recruiting community now that you're on the other side of it, and you are a high school coach at a major program that has kids who are going to go play for big time schools and make serious money when they're teenagers playing college football? Transfer portal versus the high school thing.
Well, it's interesting. I think early on it was portal, and I think even Boise State was hit with a little bit of that, right? We got to go portal, and I think the 2024 team felt the pressure to go portal, but the bones were so good for that 2024 team with Ashton Genty and Ahmed Hassanin, who, congratulations, will be raising the blue chaos flag in honor I had a chance to be a part of. That's really, really cool.
Ahmed's back in town.
I love Ahmed, man. I love Ahmed. But yeah, man, I just right now I think that the pendulum is swinging back to high school recruiting, which excites me. I want people to be involved. I think in the first 2 years of a program, when you take over as a head coach, I think that the portal is predominantly used. And then you kind of get to the point where, like, gosh dang, I hate just building a new roster every single year. It's like, does the culture ever really, codify and get set? No, it doesn't.
Yeah, but they're not kids anymore. I mean, part of me says I would just do the portal, man. Let other people do my homework for me and get them from stage 1 to stage 3 when they're ready to come play for me.
You got money?
Coaches, no. But no, you okay? Say yes, I did, but I still want the star high school kids. It feels like coaches, you guys, like, you really do want it organic. You want them in your building before any other in college football, and you're willing to have to wait a year on a lineman because you get him at 280. You can't play him until he's 307. So you can't even think about this kid until you can put 30 pounds on him. Good luck doing that in 7 months, right? I mean, certain players, certainly at that position, like, you need time for them just to grow in your building. And we're seeing coaches have to decide how they want to pick and choose what portal players to get, like position, what high school players to bring in and grow. It's getting serious where it's such a big free agency model now, Coach.
Let's just talk about the most successful era of Boise State football. Where would you say that would be? Where was I will go. The most successful head coach in the history of the program? Chris
Peterson. Yeah. For me.
What was his
I would go 2001 to 2010. I would go the entire WAC era was the best era of Boise State. Yeah. I hate leaving the last Big West team out because I almost want to say 2000. That way I can include Cutter and Bart, who I think were phenomenal. Freaking masterpiece in this building puzzle of Boise State football were Bart and Dirk. So I almost want to throw and Brock Forsey, but he was there with Hawk.
He was.
Yeah, that's what I would say. Yeah, I would give it that era.
So let's go the best year of Boise State football, hands down. What year? I'll let you finish that sentence.
I mean, this is what these fans are lucky to have. I mean, you're probably going to say 06.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
100%.
Hey, they were undefeated in 09 also with Kellen, and that team would have beat the 06 team probably, at least in terms of NFL talent.
So let's say, what were the 06 and 09 teams that you're talking about? What was the acronym that Coach Pete always used about the roster?
OKGs.
Yeah, OKGs.
Our kind of guy.
Do you think that OKG equals NIL equals portal? No.
Mm-mm. So I can't imagine there's a lot of OKGs in the portal.
So I think it's fair. I think it's fair to say that Spencer and staff, in terms of like honoring the foundation of Boise State's program and what's made it unique and different and special, has been, the identification of players, the culture, ultimately on the campus, and then how you develop them over time. They're our kind of guys. That's 26 high school signees in a year in a class. It's what it is. I mean, and so it's the right move. It's the right move for Boise State. Now, you better make sure your quarterback situation's right. That's all I'll say. You better make sure your quarterback situation's right.
It's probably going to be what it is now, adding a couple of players.
Mm-hmm.
I think Spencer flat out said it. They're not pursuing a transfer portal quarterback anymore.
I mean, they have 5 scholarship quarterbacks, don't they?
They do, right? Yeah. Like
is Caleb Annett going to be a part of this, or is he transferring?
There's no word on that, but I mean, does he?
Is it Annett or Arnett? I think it's Annett. Yeah,
I would imagine Caleb Annett probably leaves. He probably transfers. He is behind Zeke Martinez. And I think when you lose battles to a couple of walk-ons or whatnot, I think it probably means you go somewhere else, and that's perfectly fine. That's what you do now.
No question.
It's not a negative. It's not an embarrassment. It's not necessarily a humbling experience. Transfers used to be so weird. Remember? It was like, he's a transfer? What? He sat out a year? Who?
What is that guy all about?
Weird. He's played for 2 teams? That's so weird. And now, I mean, it's just, it's free agency, man. Like every single year. Coaches too. You guys are just as bad.
Oh, I mean, we were the I mean, look at my resume, man. Go to my Wikipedia page. I mean, I was the original transfer portal coach.
Dude.
I mean,
so how did that work? During the season, somebody calls you, or do you call somebody? How does an assistant coach go from a position coach at UTEP to a position coach at Minnesota?
Typically, it's because you know the people from other stops, or when it got bigger and the stakes were higher, it was agents would reach out to me. Jimmy Sexton would reach out to me. Trace Armstrong would reach out to me on behalf of Urban Meyer.
Trace Armstrong?
Yeah. He's one of the power agents. Trace Armstrong was Butch Jones' agent, Brian Kelly's agent, James Franklin agent. And so he would reach out to me, and he would act as the middle ground and be like, hey, he's like, have really good conversations. Like, he'd be the buffer. Be like, I don't know, man. Like, I really like it here. Like, I don't really want to leave, man. Like, it's a place I played at, and then he'd be like, well, what, and I don't know. So I interviewed, it'd be like after the season. It would never, like, I never did anything during, like, I would have a conversation on the phone with the agent. But yeah, I mean, it's agents are running this thing. And frankly, I mean, I was recruited by a couple agents to sign with them. And luckily, maybe unluckily, it depends on how you look at it. I'm glad where I'm at right now. Quality of life and being a real human being and coaching high school football and being a dad is pretty awesome.
You're a dad now, man.
Yep.
Dude,
Yep.
You're a freaking dad.
Yeah. I mean, today.
Your kids got lucky, man. They did.
Yeah, at the right time too, right? Because I mean, I got
100%, and you'll get to hopefully coach them. Hopefully,
Yep.
hopefully, you're the sand boys are going to come up and they're going to light up Colorado high school football here. Let's go.
No doubt. But for me, it was like, Jimmy Sexton. They asked me if I wanted to sign with him. Shoot, when I got fired at Western Kentucky, I was called by Jimmy Sexton's right-hand man saying, "Hey," and I'm like, I was joking with Anne-Marie. I'm like, you know what's going to happen? I'm going to get a call from from Lane Kiffin to see if I want to be a quality control guy at Alabama. It actually happened.
It did. Yeah.
I got called
that one thing. Yep.
And I thought it was such a joke. I'm like, yeah, it's like the rehab assignment. It's worked for Lane Kiffin. It's worked for Steve Sarkisian. Right. And those guys were way more high profile than I was, but
yeah, when you just got to Notre Dame, you were on kind of the whiz kid list. You were, dude. You were. If you would have, and I stayed at Boise State for another year and had Rip and McWeapon, you would have done some really good things. People always say it in the comments, Sandman was only the OC 1 year, but that offense was a top 10 offense in America, and you had good teams. But it's freaking Notre Dame. I get it.
Yep. And so you just make you just make decisions. You make good, you make bad decisions, you learn from them. You try to do the best that you can at the time, and it's not easy, man. It's not easy. It's just, I mean, I got to the point where my daughter didn't even know where she's from. Like, where are you from? I don't know. I mean,
good point. Yeah,
she didn't know where she's from.
Dang, you're right. Yeah, I kind of just not from anywhere. We just we're from where we are right now. Yeah.
And we moved here. I got hired at CU in 2021, December. It's the longest I've ever lived in one place consecutively. It's Colorado.
Yep. Other than that, it'd probably be Boise, Idaho when you were in college.
Yeah, college at 5 + 1 is 6, right? And then Stanford, I was at 3 + 2, but 2 different times.
What about this? I know your relationship with Lane, but Ole Miss fans ran Lane off the road on his way out. He made them winners. Do you agree with that?
Yeah. I mean, this is the most historic era of Ole Miss football.
That was one of the weirdest things ever, though.
Yeah,
dude.
but you know what, though, man? Lane can't help himself, right? and what I've learned, and Anne-Marie and I've talked about it, for the most part, to survive this game of college football as a head coach, you got to have like something kind of wrong with you, right? To do it really long term, and have the low moments and the high moments. You either got to be a completely miserable person, like a guy like Nick Saban, that I think is still very miserable deep down. Great coach, won a ton of championships, but do you think that guy goes to bed at night, puts his head down on the pillow, and is like, "Man, I'm happy."
He only can function, I think, when he's at his high stress level, and he's
Correct.
got to deal with it, and he's got to be serious, and we're not farting around here, and let's go. He's just from that era of men. My dad was one of those guys, I think, and he's just he doesn't know how to be happy. You're that way for so long, you feel guilty maybe when you're being happy and you quote or let your hair down, so to speak, a little bit. But you're right. I don't think Saban's happy. He doesn't look happy on game day all that often. He doesn't look happy on McAfee every week. Like he swears that he says four-letter words now, and people just kind of laugh like he's the old grandpa at the Thanksgiving table.
Correct.
It's crazy, man. But yeah,
and I think the other camp is these extreme megalomaniac, narcissistic, egocentric individuals, and that's why I think the way that this thing all went down with Lane wanted all of the. I think he wanted all of the theatrics of it all.
Okay,
I do.
Narcissistic, egomaniac. He likes it. Yeah, and okay.
And that's why I think that's why I think he. Hey, this is a cool shout out here from Fresno State defensive back Simeon Harris. Coached him at CU, one of my absolute favorites. What's up, Sam? Absolutely,
man. What's going on, man?
What a freaking player too. What a player Simeon Harris is. And an awesome.
You had
awesome
him in
man.
Logan.
CU.
Gotcha.
So he went CU, and then he went to Utah State, and then ended up at it was cool. I had a chance to talk to some of his personnel people back at Utah State that I'd still known from 3 years prior. About Sim. Then Sim had success at Utah State, played under Blake Anderson, then transferred and played for Ants over there at Fresno State, and had a heck of a game against Boise State.
What have you heard with the smart college football people you talk to? I'm talking Brock Heward. I'm talking coaches that you still talk about who all sit around and talk about how college football is 100% nonsense right now, but they're all involved. They all realize it. They're playing the same game. They all know it's ridiculous, but if they sit around and do nothing about it, they're going to lose their jobs. And these are really good jobs, very powerful jobs. You want these jobs, you're millionaire over and over. You've had deals where your salary is over $1 million a year. And I'm sure some days you drive to work and whatever freaking car you're driving then and just kind of chuckle. I'm going to coach quarterbacks and they're paying me $1 million to do that. Sometimes I shake my head at my salary on sports radio, man. And I'm not even in a position in my sports radio career yet where I want to be, where some of these guys make big time money in my business, coach. But it's crazy to think that these jobs in the coaching carousel where, he left like in the middle or at the end of the best season they were ever having. Yeah. Like what are you hearing from the smart people when they say they need to do this or they need to do that? What sticks in your head thinking, yeah, okay, that'll work?
Well, I think what I would tell you this is I consider myself one of the smart people in college football, not because I'm smarter than anybody else, but because not only do I know the last 20 years of college football and the coaching landscape and the recruiting world, because I lived it. I lived it at a high level at places like Stanford, Boise State, Notre Dame, Utah State, Minnesota. So I've coached in pretty much all the power conferences for the most part. But I'd say also just knowing my dad and knowing the history of what he did in college football and when it was the purest that it ever was. My dad was an $80,000 a year living in Orange County, California, commuting to South Central as the wide receiver coach for the University of Southern California. And he was there for 8 years. He never got a raise, Johnny.
Curtis Conway.
Once. He coached Keyshawn Johnson, recruited Keyshawn Johnson. And that's it. And there was purity to the game. There was coaching. It wasn't
Southwest LA Junior College.
Yes, nailed it. Very good.
Where Keyshawn went to junior college.
West LA.
Dang it!
Okay. You're close. But the game just my dad always talks about it because he saw with me. He's like he couldn't believe. Like I'd call him and be like, "Hey, what do you think, Dad? Like they're offering me this," and he'd be like, "Whoa, man! Like." Really? Like, okay. Wow. Congrats, man. What? Huh? And it started going crazy in the 2010s, man. They went nuts in the 2010s. And then it went even more nuts in the 2020s. And I do think that the coaching salaries are going to start to come down. But the bottom line is the money, the big pot of money in college football, it's not going anywhere, man. And it's now going to the players. And so the coaching salaries are going to they're going to have to come down. I don't know where all this money's going to come from. You just see
right. I just don't want it to get ridiculous,
Get ridiculous?
You're
John,
right. You're right.
This is like Clark W. Griswold when he's talking that, Helen, what are you talking about ridiculous? We're on the threshold of hell. I mean, that's where we are right now in college football.
He's holding out for a management position. That's why he doesn't have a job.
We've got Mr. Shirley wrapped up with a bow on him on our front step, delivered by cousin Eddie. That's what college football is.
It's the Jelly of the Month Club. It's the gift that keeps on giving the whole year.
Here's what I tell you, though, man. The irony of all this, I saw this. The coaching salaries got out of control. Therefore, like people like me that fell victim to it in the sense that my convictions should have been stronger to say, you know what? Like, Johnny, let me ask you this. Like, if you're making $80,000 and somebody just out of nowhere comes along and just tells you, you know what, Johnny, I want to pay you $160. We're going to pay for your move. And okay, would you probably go? And it's in a great place and it's prestigious and it's one of the big badges in sports talk radio. Would you go?
I mean, if it's like a Notre Dame jump, if it's Boise, Idaho to Notre Dame.
But what would you say? 80 to 160 is what? How big a raise is that?
It'd be nice. Sure.
It's 100% raise, Johnny. It's you're doubling your salary. Okay, then you're at that next place. Right?
Yeah, I probably would if it's a good market, whatnot. Yeah, but I love Boise. I love Idaho.
Yeah. So then
it'd be hard to leave this state. I like this community.
So you're
I've had offers. Come on. Anyway, but I won't.
No, but I know you've had offers. But I'm talking about 100% salary increase. 100%. Literally 100% of what you're making, right? Because that's the kind of stuff that I'm talking about in college football. And then you go to the next place, and then a year later, somebody's like, "Hey, man, I want to offer you $375." Okay. And then the next year, somebody comes along, "Hey, I want to offer you $850."
I'm taking that.
You keep saying no every time, all the time.
No, I'd go to Anchorage, Alaska for $1 million for a couple of years. But yeah, no, I get it. It's just crazy. And then, but the thing is, I don't get my money if they fire me. I don't get to keep
you do in college football,
right? I mean, these coaches, it's just, honey, if it doesn't work, it doesn't matter. Who cares? Right? I mean, you guys, you've had that conversation with your wife to some level. Some of your best friends have had that conversation with their wife where they're like, I know Jason Eck, I've talked to him. He got to have that conversation with his wife. And when he was the OC at
the Queen, man, the
State, he's probably making 75. Yeah.
That's what he called her today.
He got an extension 3 months in. Now he's making like, what is it? 1 point whatever in Albuquerque. Like 3 years ago, 5 years ago, Jason Eck was making $60,000 a year,
right?
Freezing his ass off in the Dakotas. That's how quick it comes. An Eck's next job. Shoot, man, that's going to be 5 times what he's making in Albuquerque. So, and he's going to get every penny of it. It's freaking crazy, man.
It's crazy.
But
what I tell you is, in addition to the coaching salaries getting unhinged, and my dad even saying that that greed took over. It took over for coaches, right? But you can understand it when I explain it the way I just explained it to you, and you personalize it. Greed took over. And then the other part of this is that the recruiting part got so ugly. You're supposed to not pay players to go to your school 5 years ago, right? The SEC was egregiously cheating in football. Egregiously.
You can vouch for that. Like before this was legal, they were still doing it.
It wasn't just the SEC, but the SEC was doing it better and bigger than anybody else was. Okay.
They had been getting paid in that league.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. You know what the problem was? Is guess who knew that the SEC was rampantly cheating relative to what the current rules were in 2018?
The NCAA.
Yeah, it's always been about the acronyms. There are 3 acronyms that ultimately completely ruined college football to make it what it is today. And I actually heard this from one of my favorite head coaches, Pat Fitzgerald. I was on a flight with him, and he broke it down for me beautifully. He goes,
he's got a new gig.
Yeah, happy Michigan State Sparty, baby. I almost worked for him at Northwestern, but
okay.
So Pat Fitzgerald tells me this. He goes, "Hey," and I was at Notre Dame at the time. We're flying back to Chicago on we were just on a normal flight, right? Like on United or something from the NCAA convention. He goes, the 3 acronyms that are going to ruin college football. He said, SEC, 3-letter word, and then two 4-letter words, ESPN NCAA. And it's because ESPN is the share rights holder for the SEC, and the kickback up to the NCAA is so big, and the NCAA does not want to bite the hands that feeds them, which is the SEC, because it creates the largest pie, amount of pie from TV revenue that goes back upstream.
Outside of the NFL, that's where you go now. Like I was talking about this earlier with BJ. When we were growing up, college football was not bigger than Major League Baseball. It was not. And it wasn't bigger than the NBA. In the Jordan era, in the Magic Bird era, college football was not bigger. They were pro sports, and those were bigger. Now, it's not even close the other way. College football dwarfs Major League Baseball. If you look at TV numbers or any other measure, destroys it. The only thing that college football doesn't destroy is the NFL, right?
Yeah, the NFL is king, man.
That's what college football has done now, and it's because of those acronyms. You're right. I'll even throw. You said CBS, Fox. I mean, and that's where we are right now. But Boise State tomorrow night at this time is going to be hopefully winning for you another Mountain West championship, third in a row.
Does the goalpost,
coach? Final thoughts.
Does the goalpost end up in the Boise River?
No, you can't touch the goalpost on this. Stop. You're 8-4. You're not ripping the goalpost out. This isn't Denny Green in Northwestern winning their first game.
Johnny, you're a vandal. Okay, you do not make the rules about the goalpost at Albertson Stadium.
Huh. What? We don't have goalposts in the
and I'm going to tell Ball Talk Nation that when Boise State wins their final Mountain West Conference champion, you rage and you freaking, why not? Against all odds, you're in your Mountain West Conference championship for the third straight year, and you grab that goalpost and you find some local frat boys or just wannabe frat boys that want to take that thing down to the river. And then you take a bit of that piece of goalpost home with you to make history. That goalpost has no chance tomorrow night, Johnny. And I don't care what they say.
Last year you had Genty, and you still at that point thought he was going to win the Heisman. Remember last year, your boy Travis Hunter did not play in a conference championship game.
Right.
Genty did. He got the extra game, and you thought, oh, dude, he's going to kill it. He did. Travis Hunter, out of sight, out of mind for Heisman voters, still didn't work. But you also had the biggest thing outside of Genty is, hey, the first ever of its kind, a real-life college football tournament at this level. 12 teams, not 4, 12. And Boise State had punched their ticket. That, I think, caused the explosion. There might be fans on the field tomorrow, but, dude, I don't think they're going for the goalposts. We will see, though.
Johnny, when you look at the current seedings for the college football playoff, if it were to end today, is there anybody besides Ohio State and Georgia that can really win this thing? Really win it?
Okay. Can I answer that question in a couple of days when I see what Signetti can do on a neutral site against Ohio State? I need to see that game. And then, you know what? I want to say I love Kalen DeBoer and Ryan Grubb. It's like I never count them out. I've seen them at their best, and they're really difficult. If they beat Georgia, they can win it. Yeah. But if they lose to Georgia, I don't know. But yeah, Ohio State, Oregon. You don't think Oregon can win it? You throw the Ducks in. I don't believe Ohio State's on a different. Ohio State and Georgia, you said?
I think so.
It's just a different level.
Yeah.
I hope that's not the case, but it may end up being the case. Don't count out Texas Tech, man. They got freaking oil money and Pat Mahomes signing chiggity checks.
BYU's beating him this weekend, buddy.
Dude, you're just saying that because your brother-in-law is the quarterback coach there.
No, because Bear Bachmeier.
Does he like your brother-in-law love working with Bear?
Loves him.
Is Bear going to take $4 million and go to the SEC?
Nope, because Bear Bachmeier is right here. Steady.
Feels like BYU will have no problem keeping that kid.
Nope. Yeah, and he's not even LDS. He just loves the culture.
Okay. Yeah. BYU. They're not. You think they have a shot against Tech? Huh? That'd be cool for BYU in the West to go to that tournament.
They got a shot,
but it's Texas Tech. What are you looking at right now?
Just checking scores. Checking what the Cowboys score.
Oh yeah, I got that game on. Final thoughts, score prediction. Let's get out of here.
I'm gonna go. Boise State is gonna win. Maddox Matz is gonna have a good game. 38-21.
I'll go 34-17 on Ball Talk. Coach Sanford, well done.
Take the goalpost down, Bronco Nation.
This crispy chicken is from a taco place.
This crispy chicken is from a taco place? The taco place? Taco